Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. I got a few DC updates for you on this Thanksgiving Day. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you. Please spend time with your family. You never know when they pass. So it's definitely going to be a different one for us. I want to thank everyone for their kind and thoughtful words and prayers, for our past grandma. She didn't make it to Thanksgiving, so it's very unfortunate and very sad, but we're making do with what we can. And so, but thank you so much for your kind and thoughtful words this Thanksgiving. But yeah, thank you so much for the support over the years as well. I can't believe I got to the point of over 16,000 subscribers. I'm still shooting for more, and still definitely committed to bringing you daily DC content as soon as it comes out. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for subscribing or even joining as a member, or buying a Teespring t-shirt down below. All of that, just it means so much. It means so much to me. All right, let's get on with the headlines. The first topic of the day is Javicia Leslie is having a blast playing Batwoman. She tweeted this herself. "I can't get over this. Every morning I wake up and say, wow, I'm really a freaking superhero. This is literally my dream job. May there be many more F-Yas each time I fly. Shout out to my amazing stunt team. Follow your dreams, people. This is real." So she's definitely having a good time tweeting that out and showing a little bit of the behind the scenes where she kind of just shoots up Batwoman style and looking fantastic, looking fabulous. So looking forward to seeing this series. And like, I still have to catch up. I still got to go through Supergirl and Flash. I'm revisiting that Crisis on Infinite, not on Infinite, on Crisis on Earth X right now. I just finished that up, so I'm going to continue the shows and get through it and finally get through Batwoman. So hoping for that at least. So that is a small little update for Batwoman. All right, there's the other superhero. There's going to be the Bat, but there's also going to be the Super. So Superman and Lois have a little behind the scenes look, not much. This is actually coming from Elizabeth Tulloch herself, and it's a screen of what they're shooting at, and it looks like it's involving Clark and his sons right there. You see his glasses there. I guess it kind of looks like they're remodeling or they're painting their house, their interior of their house. And looking at these two colors here, there's probably some kind of scene here where they're talking about what color to choose for that room, and maybe they'll have a little bit of, well, I want red and the other one wants blue, because Superman, right? it's gonna happen. I can clearly see it, just being as a CW. I can clearly see that scene being played out there. So they're still currently shooting. Still haven't got anything in terms of the actual Superman suit, which I'm really looking forward to actually seeing, like, up close, nicely shot, everything like that, and not just far away and very blurry. I really actually want to see what it actually looks like, the presentation of it all. And so hoping for that. I don't think it's coming this time anytime soon, probably after the the Thanksgiving holidays, maybe next week. I don't know. I'm hoping before the end of the year, because that would be kind of nice to take a gander at and take a look at for that. So that is the CW. That's it for the CW shows. We're going to talk about movies now. Now, this is a movie I haven't talked about in a while, because I've changed from just movies in general to a DC-centric channel. But there are more movies headed to HBO Max, apparently. This is coming from, actually, the original reports from The Hollywood Reporter, and they had an exclusive on this. But the report pretty much says that streamers are in a bidding war for Godzilla versus Kong. Netflix has offered $200 million plus, while HBO Max prepares its own offer. Warner Bros. Says they plan to release the movie theatrically next year as scheduled, which I think was going to be in May. But there is a possibility that it will end up on HBO Max, kind of like what they're doing with Wonder Woman 1984. Looks like it's really taken off. Looks like they may be preparing for the fact that we may not get to see this in theaters in May. Like if the theaters aren't opened, or they're not going to make their amount of money. Granted, I think their Warner Brothers only has like a 25% share. This is a legendary movie. They still handle the distribution, and so Warner Brothers is definitely trying to figure that out. Just like Wonder Woman 1984, this movie also has been delayed and delayed and delayed. But having this happen goes to show what their thoughts are in terms of their movies, right? I mean, if this happens in May, what's in August? I think August is the Suicide Squad. They're definitely going to be looking down the line at other movies that are in their library that are supposed to release out at some time. So if they're already thinking about a movie I think it's coming out in May, and they're already thinking about that, they should do the HBO Max thing as well for that one. It's safe to say that there's other movies down on that list of movies that's supposed to come out next year that they may even be thinking about releasing it on HBO Max. So this is not over. Like Wonder Woman 1984 started this all, that they haven't even shown that it's successful or not. That's remains to be seen until December 25th or around that time. But they're already thinking about it. You can see their minds working already. They're trying to like figure out, well, what do we do with the rest of these movies that are coming out? We can't just rely on Wonder Woman 1984 to start opening up theaters. And, we're still waiting for the vaccine and everything. Godzilla versus Kong. Now they're thinking about Godzilla versus Kong, which is literally coming out like pretty much what you call the beginning of summer of next year. And they're already thinking about throwing that on HBO Max. You bet your butt they're thinking about other movies before then, and even a little bit after Godzilla versus Kong as well. And the next movie that is pretty much coming out next year is the Suicide Squad. So let's see what happens. I don't know. I'm just kind of eager to see what's going to happen with that. I could definitely see the Suicide Squad being thrown on HBO Max as well. I think the budget is a little bit lower, I think. But it's kind of sad because, Godzilla vs. Kong is definitely a movie that you should watch in theaters. Like, it's just a giant monster movie. And, almost every blockbuster really should be seen in theaters. And you can, if you want to. They're giving you that choice. But a lot of people are made just stay home and watch this thing as well. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, a lot of movies are heading to HBO Max, and one of those movies is Wonder Woman 1984. Half. There's a choice. You have like a month to watch Wonder Woman 1984. But I thought I'd show you this. It's kind of cool. Mikhail said that has a tweet here. Theater hall promo. There's a little promo that's going on in theater hall, and just watching this. It just gives me that I know it's just like literally like last year or even earlier this year that I actually went to watch a movie in theaters. But don't you remember that excitement of going into a theater and seeing all the promotions? Now, this is hands down like way more than my theaters, but just the excitement of going through the theater, seeing all the promotions, see the hot dogs, see the drinks. You have your ticket in your hand, fumbling for your ticket. You may have lost it or something, but like you just grab a drink and you're waiting for your movie. And while you're waiting, you're watching all these promos. It gets you excited, it just gets you so excited to get in there and watch a movie, all this different promotions outside. So I can't imagine just walking through. I would love to walk through these halls, seeing Wonder Woman 1984 promos, and I'm like, that's the movie we're going to watch, and get in there, finding your seat in the dark room, seeing all these advertisements, and then the previews, the trailers roll. Oh, how I miss that experience. And like I said, hopefully the vaccine comes out and we can once again, have theaters, at least in my state, and start watching movies like this again. But that's not all, though. Luis Fernando presented us with a new poster. And so, celebrating official confirmation that Wonder Woman 1984 is finally arriving at cinemas, Warner Brothers Brazil released new local poster with brand new art of Wonder Woman 1984. As current crisis is still out of control locally, it doesn't mention a release date in case they need to postpone it, because this is Brazil, so it's not going to be like domestic where they can have the HBO Max. There's definitely going to be this. They're definitely going to try to put this in the theaters. I can't say this. I want to say it's like Mulher Maravilla, but 1984. And he goes on further. He says that also Wonder Woman 1984 will have an exclusive panel at Brazil and CCXP Worlds 2020, which will be an online event only this year due to the current situation. Warner Media will have a heavy presence in this year's edition, which brings me on to the next point. Promoting from HBO and Warner Bros. To see Cartoon Network, etc. HBO Max rollout announcement. Maybe we could have an announcement there. But he also wants to express that the CCXP Worlds will work similar to DC Fandom. So it's going to be like DC Fandom. You need access to the website, sign up to watch the panels you want in the different worlds, exactly like the different verses at the fandom. See the full lineup and choose what you want to see. So I'll have this link in the description below so you can go and check it out yourself, start your journey. It's in Portuguese and in English, so you can definitely look through that. And, it's really not that far away. I mean, it's 8 days and 13 hours and 6 minutes, as it looks like right here. And, when you click on it, it'll be a lot closer. But it's definitely coming soon. So if you're excited for anything DC, heck, this might be the next thing. This might be something else looking forward to entirely. And like I said, there's also HBO stuff in here. HBO Max. Are they going to announce anything for Green Lantern? Remember that? Green Lantern, maybe Justice League Dark, Constantine, Zatanna. Are we going to see any of that? Hey, maybe we're going to see, well, they haven't mentioned anything about Snyder Cut, but, they could. We don't know. We're not really sure what's going to be at CCXP, but they really wanted to focus on Brazil now, right? I think Toby Emmerich has even said that last year. Like they skipped San Diego Comic-Con and they put a big presentation for Brazil CCXP. That's where we actually finally get to see a little bit of Wonder Woman 1984 at that, and it was huge. It was a big event. Now there may drop a lot more stuff on here, especially now it's kind of like another DC Fandom. So I'm pretty excited about this, and I'm hoping to see some new things here as we get closer. I might even do a live stream event for this as well, seeing what panels are there. We'll have to wait and see, but there's definitely going to be Wonder Woman 1984, as Luis Fernando has said over here, and then there may be other stuff as well. So crossing my fingers for more DC content over at Brazil CCXP Worlds. Now, there is there's some issues in terms of accountability over entertainment over at Warner Media. And just to summarize it, Ray Fisher has accused Joss Whedon, Jeff Johns, and John Berg, and some other executives over at Warner Brothers. And so Warner Media has gone through an investigation, right? And Joss Whedon, relatively out of sight. We haven't heard from him at all. But we do know that he was supposed to be part of the HBO's The Nevers, which is a Warner Media, project, right? But now it's been reported today, and I think it was Cinema Blend who reported, but I found this Hollywood Reporter article instead. It says Joss Whedon exits HBO's The Nevers, right? And he has a big, nice statement here, and it's a lot of fluff, if you say, where he says, unprecedented challenges, COVID, and things like that. But it's interesting because at the beginning of this Hollywood Reporter article is an actual statement from HBO themselves. HBO told Hollywood Reporter, despite what Joss Whedon wants to put out, they said this: "We have parted ways with Joss Whedon. We remain excited about the future of The Nevers and look forward to its premiere in the summer 2021. Now, The Nevers is not a DC product or anything like that. It's an HBO original. But it's interesting to see that in that sentence there. We have parted ways with Joss Whedon. It's not Joss Whedon leaving because of certain issues and things like that. So, and it got me thinking about Warner Media, how Jason Kilar and Ann Sarnoff had said that we will, in a statement, that they're going to be investigating things that are not right with Warner Brothers and these other subsidiaries and other partnerships, and they will part ways with people that they wouldn't, if need to, despite whatever they're involved in. And so when I read that we have parted ways with Joss Whedon, it just brought me back to what Jason Keelar said in his memo. We will part ways with people. So it's like almost a hint that they did maybe find something not so good about Joss Whedon, and it's funny because Ray Fisher even tweeted out today. He said, I have no intention of allowing Joss Whedon to use the old Hollywood tactic of exiting, stepping down, or walking away to cover for his terrible behavior. Warner Media's Justice League investigation has been in full swing for over 3 weeks now. This is undoubtedly a result of it. Accountability over entertainment. So it looks like it is. I mean, like I said, that sentence that the statement that HBO put out, we have parted ways with Joss Whedon, is kind of telling, because it's like the same language that Jason Keelar used for if they ever find something that they don't agree with in certain cases, they will part ways with that person. That's exactly what happened. So it looks like the Justice League investigation is underway, and they're finding some stuff about Joss Whedon, and they're letting him go. They're just going to let him go. So, oh well, bye, I guess. But in regards to Justice League, and there's, a lot of mystery behind that, like all the different scoops that are coming out, like Daniel RPK had a scoop about, Ryan Reynolds wants to be in jail too, and things like that. And also, there's a little bit more about Joker this time around. Now, for you members out there, I did tell you that when I had a phone call with Zack Snyder, he almost showed me that Joker photo. But because I didn't have an iPhone, I couldn't FaceTime him. And so, thus, I didn't get to see it. The one time I really wanted an iPhone would have been that time. Yeah, unfortunately. But, and I heard about what he kind of looks like now, and now it's kind of out there. Apparently, Moonlight Warrior, who is, he's a writer for Geeks Worldwide. They have a lot of connections. Daniel Rickman also saw some stuff as well. But apparently, Joker's new look is being described for Zack Snyder's Justice League. So are you ready for this? So Daniel Rickman, Daniel RPK, does have sources, by the way. Leto's Joker looks pretty cool, the nightmare scene, right? So he's probably saw that picture. And then Moonlight Warrior also says long hair, rugged, no tats or capped teeth. Interesting. I want to say it's in why, and you're like, oh, that's cool. Long hair, rugged, no tats or capped teeth. Oh, that's interesting. That nightmare scene. Is it though? This is what I'm clearly confused about, and it's the fact that the description says no tats or capped teeth. So to me, it feels like that would have been before, before Batman bust his teeth. And why did Batman bust his teeth in the Suicide Squad or prior to the Suicide Squad? Was because Joker killed Robin. Okay. All right. So that makes sense. But then you look at that rugged, the words rugged, long hair, okay, maybe the long hair, so you could have cut it, but rugged. And Daniel RPK also saying that it's a nightmare scene. David Film Junkie also said they filmed nightmare scenes. Garza said they filmed nightmare scenes. Even Grace, I think, said, nightmare scenes. Zack even alluded to me that they filmed nightmare scenes. So I don't get it, because unless they surgically remove the tattoos somehow or chemically remove the tattoos, they put real teeth back. I don't know, or this is my guess, is that because Joker was never in Justice League, now that it's revealed that Zack never had him filmed to begin with, like he just added him in because he thought it was cool. He's using. I mean, I'm just gonna say this: that it's possible that Jared Leto's Joker and Zack Snyder's Justice League is not the same Joker that David Ayer created for Suicide Squad. So definitely, probably, maybe not even connected. Maybe. This is what, you know what I'm trying to get at? Because if it's a nightmare scene, that means it's the future. And if the future, how can Joker not have tattoos or have all his teeth back? But if it's a flashback to when he killed Robin, that makes more sense. He won't have any tattoos. He's not, cap teeth. He wouldn't be rugged though. And also, they clearly say nightmare scene here. So I'm clearly confused. And I'm really wondering about how, did Zack just kind of say, I love Jared Leto's Joker. But just like Aquaman, where he's like, I want to use the air bubbles. I can't think of them talking like dolphins. So he's going to take some elements. He's going to use elements that he believes in, while the other director, like James Wan, can utilize and do anything he wants after that. But Zack's like, this is my show. So I'm gonna have Jared Leto's Joker, but I'm gonna have him look like this. And we don't have to explain why he looks different in David Ayer's Suicide Squad, because it's a different universe. This may not be the same Joker, guys. I'm just saying, it just sounds interesting to hear that there's no tattoos, no cap teeth, but yet it's from the future. What is going on? What is going on? I'm really curious about that. Let me know your thoughts about this potential Joker's new look described for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Do you think that this is wrong and they're actually talking about a flashback prior to the Suicide Squad? Or is this truly the nightmare scene? This is truly what Zack Snyder envisioned Joker to look like, meaning that the Suicide Squad really isn't connected to the Snyderverse. Like Zack said, my Snyderverse is really just Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and then Justice League. I'm really curious about that, and I want to know your thoughts about that. All right, well, that is it for all the topics for today. I am now going to go into the Ping Pong Flix members, questions and comments. Like I said, if you want me to read your comment or question on air, please join as a member below, and definitely put a comment on the last video, which would be this video, and then for the next video, I'll throw it up. So here we go. Brandon Hall. I truly hope that Zack Snyder is allowed to continue his arc and see it to completion. I can imagine the whole series playing out similar to The Lord of the Rings in the format of The Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King. Whereas Man of Steel and BVS established the precursor, the Silmarillion, I can't say that, and Hobbit to set off the epic, bringing into scope the larger Elseworlds DC universe to converge on one imminent threat in Darkseid, as well as opening up the possibilities of the multiverse to carry over into the Flash. I can't see Ryan Reynolds rebooting his role as Hal Jordan. I would like to see something more organic in terms of Lanterns that would fit in a Snyderverse, though it will be interesting to see him redeem the part in the Green Lantern series on HBO Max as a completely separate entity that exists somewhere in the ether of the multiverse. But those are just my thoughts on the subject. One day, I would like to interest you in reading my novels. I believe you could find some enjoyment in them in the way your mind works. Take care. Wow. I would love to see what novels do you have. If I search Brandon Hall, will I see that? That would be kind of interesting. Let me know about that, definitely. But yeah, like I said before, Ryan Reynolds' version of how there's two possibilities having Ryan Reynolds in Justice League. The first possibility is an easy one. He just wants to be in Justice League. And like Daniel says, Ryan Reynolds wants to be in Justice League 2. It didn't really say Ryan Reynolds wants to be Green Lantern in Justice League 2. We're just kind of assuming that because it's Ryan Reynolds. He was a Green Lantern. What if he just wants to be in the movie as a cameo of some sort? He could be a reporter or something other than actually being Green Lantern. That thought actually crossed my mind. If Zack Snyder says, hey, you know what, my Green Lantern is John Stewart, we don't really want to Hal Jordan right now. Or like someone said, he could be a version of Hal Jordan, gets killed off, he's just a cameo, and then John Stewart could be the Green Lantern. So there's definitely some possibilities like that, and I'm pretty open. I mean, whatever Zack Snyder wants, I'm all for it. But definitely, it's going to be an awesome, like you said, it's going to be epic, Lord of the Rings style. It's going to be quite something to see on the screen. Super email. Here's one. Ryan Reynolds, Green Lantern versus The Rock, Black Adam in a JLA versus JSA movie. I love it. I'm going to like it. Definitely would love to see it expand that way if it's possible. That would be great. All right. Arib Hussein. I think I wasn't clear earlier, or maybe I made a confusing statement. Oh, okay. This is probably about the voiceover. Voiceover does happen before the final animation starts, but still a lot happens before that. First, a basic level of voiceover and physical acting is done by people in-house, sometimes even animators themselves. They use that voiceover and acting to act as the base for their animatics. Animatics essentially visualization, animated storyboard. This is what used by the final voiceover artists to have as a base for their recording session. This is what they see on screen when they are in the recording booth. A lot of shots, which may not have voiceover, might also be further along the pipeline at this point. So it is a kind of a loopy pipeline. Voiceover and physical acting, if required, is done by in-house. Even animators, since they know what they want the movements to be like, they use that as the base for their animation, making as detailed and animatic they want. This animatic is then used for the real voiceover artists to do their voice acting, looking at how the characters are being animated. Then this final voiceover goes back to the animators, and they do the final lip sync and brushing up the timing of the animation in regards to the voiceover, and then work on in between frames and coloring and other stuff. I hope this gives you all a better understanding. Thank you so much, Arib Hussein, for that incredible explanation. So I think we've kind of learned a little bit something about voiceover and how that's applied. Thank you. Eric Blake, Hardboiled Entertainment. I'll say this. If Ryan Reynolds was to be in the additional photography for JL1, I can't believe he was too busy to be part of it at the moment. As for JL2, etc., I'm all for it. It's just that they better, like with how J.K. Simmons is once again J. Jonah Jameson, with clear differences. He's bald, and the Daily Bugle is an online network, not a paper. Makes Ryan's new Hal clearly look different than the 2011 version, and much different context backstory. Otherwise, they run the risk of people assuming the 2011 film is part of the DCEU. Definitely. I mean, just like the Joker, this could be another situation with Ryan Reynolds where if there's a big if Zack Snyder really wanted him to be a Hal Jordan or, Green Lantern, Zack's Green Lantern is going to be it's not going to be, I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's definitely going to be different. Definitely. I mean, you just look at look at Batman. Batman looks different from Robert Pattinson's Batman. Aquaman looks different from Aquaman. His version, his suits, his thoughts, his designs, of course, it's going to be different. And he's not going to copy anyone. He's going to make what he wants for his Snyderverse. So don't worry about if Ryan Reynolds comes in, he'll definitely look different. Brandon Hayes, interesting news scoops. I believe some of the info is very valid, and some of it seems to be very exaggerated truth, but great scoops either way. I don't know about the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern scoop. I mean, wasn't he in the horrible Green Lantern solo film from 10 years ago that no one liked, that had bad CGI? I mean, the DCEU continuity is already pretty confusing and disjointed. Throwing Ryan to the Snyderverse would just make our heads explode with more confusion. Ryan is Deadpool, and Deadpool is him. Let's leave him in the Marvel universe where he belongs. In regards to the Aquaman sequel, I have made it to no secret that I dislike the James Wan Aquaman film, and I know for a fact that I'm not alone. So a darker and less silly sequel with better CGI could be interesting, but I really could care less. For me, the true Jason Momoa interpretation of Aquaman character mythology exists in the Snyderverse. And also, how do you feel about this green? Well, let me finish that part first. So yeah, like I said, I've been saying, like the other times you're commented, yeah, if you like the Aquaman in the Snyderverse, definitely just watch that and don't bother watching the one. And like there's so many different flavors, and you can definitely pick and choose which one you want to. And about the Ryan Reynolds thing, I just mentioned to Eric Blake, that it's probably going to look different. It's going to be, and I actually had a Rise of the Green Lantern video showing that if Ryan Reynolds truly wants to come back, he wants to redeem himself, just like how he redeemed Deadpool. I mean, that's if he wants to do that and they let him do that, then good, go ahead. I mean, I'm not going to be so, pushy and say you can't do that, and I would respect that. I think he wants another. If he wants a second chance, I'd say give him a second chance, but definitely it's going to be a different Green Lantern, not the same Green Lantern. He may even make it better, just like how Ryan Reynolds Deadpool is better than Ryan Reynolds Deadpool version of Deadpool in Wolverine Origins, right? So also, how do you feel about the Green Lantern series coming? I was kind of hoping that the Green Lantern series would interconnect with the Snyder Cut. I don't think so. If not, will we have yet another universe? Yes. A standalone Green Lantern universe? Yes. It could be more connected to CW Arrowverse. I mean, technically, aren't there already 3 live-action universes in DC already? It's also confusing now, and this Flash movie is rumored to reboot the whole universe. My head will explode. This DCU timeline has more holes and continuity errors than X-Men film series, which I didn't think was possible. Ha ha ha. Yeah, there may be people like that. I'm certainly not. I can totally see where everything is going. I know where the CW Arrowverse is heading, and I believe Green Lantern series is going to be part of that, or its own thing. From that, if you've watched Crisis on Infinite Earths, it kind of shows you that it's a great Green Lantern production. So Snyderverse is going to be own thing. I can clearly see that. So I don't know. I mean, that may be an issue that you'll have to go through. But like I said, if you don't like certain universes, pick and choose which one you want to go through. If you like a certain movie, pick and choose that one, and things like that. I personally don't have a problem with it, but I can maybe see other people may have problems with that, but it doesn't bother me. And in regards to streaming versus theater releases, isn't a successful streaming series on a major streaming platform as lucrative as a tentpole summer film that makes $1 billion worldwide? I mean, isn't the idea to get 70 million people or more people to pay $30 a month year round? Isn't that the new revenue model? Yes. Won't look like something off the CW network? Yeah, I mean, they're definitely trying to do that. I mean, that's why they have a streaming model. That's why it's the wave of the future. They don't have to split the ticket costs with the exhibitors, right? I think they only get a percentage of the tickets, like less than half, I think, and so they make more money on the HBO Max and monthly payment subscriptions, right? So definitely, yeah. And also, the Green Lantern series is going to be a lot. The budget's going to be bigger, definitely, than the CW. So the effects and everything is going to be looking more fantastic, almost movie quality at that point. So I think HBO Max is definitely where they're headed for that. Mod Android. I'm not sure how Ryan Reynolds' situation will work in the Snyderverse, but I'd love to see it happen. I'm pretty sure that JL2 future JL projects will happen because no company will cash out $75 million just on a Snyderverse without future expectations. Question: do you want more dark and gritty solo films from DC or the connected stories? I love both. I love both. I think there's so many different flavors, so many different ways to work in DC. There's a lighter tone, darker tone, whatever, connected, solo outings like Joker. I love them all, to be quite honest, and I think it all works. And with the multiverse idea, you can make a lot of stuff. The creators can make certain types of movies or series or things like that. And yeah, if you want to try to encapsulate it all and try to connect it all, then that's in your own right, but it doesn't have to, right? And I'm definitely going to try to cover it all, definitely. So but I'm all for it. I'm really all for it. It makes it easier to pick and choose what you want to watch. Francis Louis Rayla, I love the Arrowverse. I watched it since Arrow season 1. As a huge fan, I think the whole universe has to end on 2022-2023 season. Arrow already ended. Supergirl is on its finale season. The Flash and Legends, my favorite, pretty much told everything they could. These 4 stories are the pillars of the universe. Let's face it, Black Lightning and its spinoff, Green Arrow and the Canaries, Batwoman, Superman, and Lois cannot carry the whole universe. And it's a shame that the universe has to end because no one is interested anymore. The Arrowverse reached its climax during Crisis on Infinite Earths. Great one, by the way. I think the next smart milestone is an epic conclusion to the universe with a massive crossover event. It would be great if this is formatted as a mini-series, 5 to 10 episodes. This, for me, is the only proper final battle possible with this. Their legacy of being a solid TV universe won't be muddled with disappointing conclusion, also known as necessary cancellations until there's nothing. Fan suggestion, return of the Anti-Monitor. No desire to end the multiverse, just the Earth Prime for vengeance, and he will employ the big bads as his henchmen, Reverse Flash, Marilyn, Malus, Earth X. Let this be their endgame. So I agree with you. You know, they can't really take it so far, and that's why you're seeing these things end. Like after Supergirl, it's Superman and Lois. Superman is Lois is a spinoff, and that will create its own thing. And I agree. There's going to be another, again, another crossover event, and then you could start seeing something that, there are CW shows, but you're starting to see some HBO Max series shows as well. And so imagine if HBO Max has the, a CW type show, but with the movie production quality, they can definitely do a lot with those crisis events. Imagine big budget blockbuster events like Game of Thrones effects and stuff, but it's like a giant crisis, right? It'll definitely be really exciting to see. And it happens once you get to a certain team up point, just like Marvel. You're going to have to continue on in certain ways by either spinning off, having these heroes have their own series and things like that. It will definitely happen. It will happen in DC as well. And we're already seeing it, right? I mean, who's after Flash? I don't know. But definitely they're going to have, Titans are going to have their own spinoff. They're going to have Teen Titans. They're going to have Red Hood, maybe even Starfire. I don't know. Green Lantern series, that's pretty much, I would think it's a spinoff of the Crisis, out of the Arrowverse. So you'll be definitely seeing that. There's gonna be a lot more Black Lightning, Painkiller. It happens. Batwoman. It's gonna go there, and I like that because it doesn't get old. Like these seasons are going to end, and some they're because of cancellations. They really have to make it tighter knit. And like Superman Lois, I think that's very short. I think it's only like 13 episodes. I could be wrong by that, but they're getting it's really getting smaller and smaller, and actually better forming of stories, not too many side stories and things like that keep the narrative tight. And I think it's good. And so it's a great experiment, and they slowly build it, but I think they know where they're going with a lot of these things. And honestly, I'm just along for the ride. With AT&T Warner Brothers' newfound big push into the multiverse, I really hope, in addition to developing new content, they delve deep into the archives, dust off, and resurrect unfinished, canceled, lost projects. Justice League Mortal, Green Arrow Escape from Supermax. I want to say agree to the Green Arrow Escape from Supermax. Maybe even Superman Flyby. Maybe J.J. Abrams. Scum could be animated. Superman Lives. I would love that. Live action Supermax to stream some for theaters. It's silly the magical think of Orphan Boys. No, that's cool. Doobie. It's not Dobie. Doobie, yes. I would agree to that. And I would definitely love to see that in, more ways to expand. Jonathan Mueller, my only problem with the first Aquaman is that the story is just silly at moments, mostly in how the relationship between Arthur and his father develops, and the fact that they choose to portray Aquaman as the dumb type character, unable to think without the presence of Mera. Plus, I'm not fine with the Ryan Reynolds situation. The only way he could possibly get in is a complete reboot of the character or as of another Lantern, which I think it is, but I don't think Ryan Reynolds would want to be just a random Lantern. Maybe, you never know, he could just be Ryan Reynolds. I personally wouldn't like to see Sam Benjamin being replaced just because. I don't know if Sam Benjamin's actually going to be in there. However, if they do so, I hope they give Sam a proper shot in the upcoming Green Lantern HBO Max series at least. Yeah, I mean, if he's definitely going to be a Green Lantern, that would be a great one to be in. I could definitely see him like some kind of Kyle Rayner or something like that. But yeah, don't know. Like I said, one of the biggest mysteries about Justice League is Green Lantern. I'm ready to see what what entails for that. Doobie, I don't see how Cage's inclusion in Flashpoint would offer Burton closure unless he directed that little segment like Flash did Flash in Suicide Squad. That would be interesting. Well, I think he've always wanted to see that version of on the big silver screen, so it maybe give him a little reprieve. And you never know. Out of that, just like Michael Keaton, when there were rumors that he could potentially have Tim Burton come back to direct him and Michelle Pfeiffer in their own spin-off movie, like a continuation of the Tim Burton verse, you never know. Maybe they'll say, hey, you want to, now with the technology we have now, take a shot at Nicolas Cage Superman? You never know. Doobie, I wonder if given the green light, Zack would want to continue with the original trajectory he intended, all the gods, or going in a new direction to conclude the story. I think both options are on the table. I'm going to lead into maybe he has some new thoughts on how to conclude the story. CCXP is next Sunday. Yes, so definitely we'll end it on there. That's the last comment, I think. And yeah, totally excited for, is that the last comment? Yeah, that is. Excited for CCXP. Thinking we're going to get some cool stuff, hopefully, for that. And, still looking forward to, Dave the Film Junkie promised us that Santa may be bringing us an announcement of the Air cut. I mean, and even the Batflix series. I thought he said something like that. Didn't he say something like that? I hope you're right, man. I really hope you're right, brother. And I'm looking forward to a wonderful Christmas indeed. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you absolutely love this daily dose of DC content and movies, shows, and video games, please click the like button. Hit that subscribe. Ring that notification bell. Keep this hot dog light on. And I'll see you next time. Have a happy Thanksgiving.